Stress, loss of income, disruption of social and protective measures have all increased the risk of domestic violence in homes. Today we want to look at the effects and the solutions to domestic violence. Joined with me, Lefson, your host today, is Carol Mukisa. So much welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Yes. She's a director to Warm Hearts Foundation.
Yes.
Yes. And your niche is domestic violence.
Yes.
Tell us, why domestic violence?
Good question. And it's going to be an opening eyes to the discussion because I love such questions because they intrigue us on why domestic violence and why not domestic violence. Mm-hmm. Most of the attention has been directed to political and economic sectors. True. And social sectors where domestic violence falls have been neglected, have been pushed under the bed. True. Because we believe, well, these are just social factors, why mind them? Yet they are the ones that are the ground of whatever is happening in our society. True. Violence in homes has affected all the sectors, be it economic, be it religious, be it political. That's why sometimes people behave in a weird way and we're like, why? It is because of these homes that our leaders, our people are brought up from. So domestic violence has affected every sector. Domestic violence has been in existence since memorial, since I was born, since so many generations that have passed on. So it deserves our attention because it's the one that writes what happens in society. True. Violence in homes has affected everything. So really it deserves our attention, and it's time people woke up and actually be like, it needs to be tackled because it is important. So I'm here to talk about it because I believe it deserves more than the attention that we are giving it apparently.
That's really good. That's really good.
Yes.
So someone wants to understand. You see, in April,
yes,
the Minister for Gender, Labour and Social Development talked about the increase of domestic violence in homes.
Yes, please.
And the reported cases are about 3,208 around somewhere, just in 1 month.
Yes.
And this increase is due to the COVID-19 case.
Yes.
We don't want to focus on the COVID-19 case.
Yes, it's okay.
But we want to understand what is domestic violence and what happens. What happens until we call it domestic violence?
Well, domestic violence has been so confused with so many violences. When someone talks about gender-based violence, they do not differentiate between the two. They're just getting confused. And that ends today, courtesy of this discussion, and many other people out there who would want to know the difference. But domestic violence is that violence that happens within the domestic setting. Okay. By the intimate partner, by a loved one. Okay. Well, gender-based violence is the violence that is done on someone basing on their gender. Oh. Gender-based violence is concentrative on gender. Someone is torturing you because you're a man. Someone is giving you a treat because you're a woman. Oh. If it's a woman, I'm going to treat her like this. If it's a man, I'm going to treat him like this. So that's gender-based violence, treating people basing on their gender. While domestic violence, it is that expression of power or control over someone.
Self-entitlement. Exactly.
You hurt someone because you feel you're above them in a setting, in a domestic setting, in a home, and by someone who is intimate. Could be a boyfriend, could be a girlfriend, could be a fiancé, or your husband or wife. Okay. Yes, exactly. So that's what it is. That's what it entails.
Thank you so much. I didn't know the difference, honestly. Yes. So what are some of these causes of domestic violence?
Well, actually, you had asked about the types. Before I go to the causes, let me first expound more on domestic violence. This violence happens in so many ways. And the most common known one actually is physical violence. Yeah. People believe violence is when someone hits you. Yet so many people are going through that violence when they have not been hurt or even hit in any way. True. Let's just give an example. If I threaten that I'm going to kill you in marriage, or if I'm using my child to deny you some benefits. For instance, there are so many marriages out there where a woman denies sex a man because of so many reasons. Could be has failed to buy him a car, could be she has failed to get anything, any benefit from him. That is also domestic violence. Okay. So it's just not about hitting. Even if I come and I insult you and I hit on the table, that's violence already. The violence has already been manifested. So that is domestic violence, but broken under so different forms or ways. So that's physical. There is control. There are some partners who control their spouses according to their choices. Hey, Levson, if you're my husband, I need that hairstyle. Or I don't like it, cut it off. I need a long skirt by force. That even me as your wife, if I'm not feeling comfortable in my long skirt, but I have to put it on to please you, that's violence. We all have a right choice.
Okay.
I have a right to cut off my hair. I was talking to a friend recently who told me that, Carol, I need to cut my hair, but my husband doesn't like it. Well, if you don't like it, but I like it, and it's my hair. And you being my husband does not mean that you have control over everything.
What if it's a soft request? Kindly please don't cut it off. I love your long hair.
Yeah.
Is that still domestic violence?
Not really. Not really. A request is request. Request is not violence. Violence is when you're using forceful means to impose what you like on someone. We have people or spouses who monitor phone calls. By the time you come home, the partner has already known the people you've been talking to. Even if you get to know them and you don't do anything, that's violence already.
True.
You're hitting on someone's privacy. Why should you be knowing everyone I've called? I have a right to be a friend anyway.
Let me make this public.
Yeah.
I get a lot of requests because, hey, Levson, you know a lot of technology. Can you please help me spy on my wife? I don't do that.
Tell them.
Please go on.
Tell them. So,
yes.
We need to let people live lives. When you go to someone's home and request for their daughter to marry them, you've not requested for the control measure. You've requested them to be your partner, not to be their bosses. You know, and patriarchy is also one of the reasons why violence is over-dominating our society, because we believe God, men, women. God, men, women. So if a man says something, it doesn't matter. Just do it.
True.
Do it. So there are so many forms, physical, emotional. Yeah, someone threatens you that, you know what, okay, maybe me and you have been moving out together and somehow we took a selfie and we separate and I get married. And you're using that selfie to threaten my marriage. If you do not give me this, I'm going to show these pics to your wife or spouse. That's violence.
True.
And those are some of the things that should be reported to the authority. True. We might take them lightly, but in the long run, they can turn out to be violent. We have seen, actually, you raised the issue of the lockdown. It's just very simple. We might not concentrate on COVID-19, but these people have been kept indoors with their batterers.
True.
I'm forced to be with my husband because I'm not about to go out of my home because of the quarantine or the lockdown. So he will press you there and you're not going to have anything to do about it. They are saying stay home, stay safe. But the homes are not safe. So it is stay home, stay unsafe. I would rather go out and be beaten by the LDU than being battered by my husband.
True.
Yeah, so people are finding security in the hands of the strangers rather than the people that we trust should be giving us security. What's the role of a man?
True.
So that is basically it, to protect the image, not just the protection of fighting, but to protect your reputation, protect your name, to give you food security, social security. Yeah, so that is basically it. And we have had also sexual abuse. Recently, there was a bill that was tabled in the parliament, actually not recently, about 2007. That bill was a domestic violence bill, and it was just kept stagnated until when the president said it's not that urgent, it's not much needed. It was just kept pending up to now. Yes, up to now. I think you remember. It was not so urgent because it's politics and economics that is actually urgent.
True.
And social hemispheres are not actually that important. Yet they are the ones that make our societies. They are the ones that groom these our leaders. They are the ones that groom our societies. In fact, they need more attention than any other sector in the country.
True. Well,
yes.
Thank you so much for the expounding. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you.
So take us through the causes.
The causes.
What are these easy causes? In fact, I loved when you mentioned about the partners that are really violent. And I think to the teenagers who are dating, not even teenagers. Teenagers, you're not supposed to date right now. Yeah, so let's talk about the young adults who are
Yeah.
dating and preparing themselves for marriage.
Yes.
Are there signs, because let's use this opportunity,
Yes.
the signs that they can see that their partners are really violent,
Yes.
things that they should avoid? Do you have some of these signs? I know a
Yeah.
few. I think I can mention one.
Please do. I can build up from there.
You can build up from there.
Yes.
I think one of the signs is you can tell a man is violent if they care too much.
Okay. How? That's funny. How?
Anyway, it's funny.
Because every woman loves to be cared for.
Yeah, every woman loves
Yes.
it.
So.
But then, anyway, research shows it that men who care too much in the early stages. In
Yes.
fact, sometimes it's not easy to know a man who's really violent.
Yes. of
Because
course.
they have to win your heart before they
course.
make you do anything that they want.
Yes.
You know? So they have to understand you. They know your weakness. You know?
Yes.
They'll give you too many gifts. Sometimes they're not even called for.
Yeah.
They'll celebrate any day, you
Yeah.
know. Yes. I don't know. Have you met such men in the... He was too
Well-
sweet in the first place.
Well,
Every
well,
woman
well.
will say that.
What she just said should not stop any man out there from caring for the partners. We need the care. For your own information, we need the care.
Yes.
But it should not be having selfish interests.
Okay.
True love should not be having any selfish interest. I think it's said in 1 Corinthians, some of us who follow the Bible, 1 Corinthians.
Yeah.
So true love should be built on a genuine ground. Yeah. And you said when you're dating, it's very hard to find out. But I think when you're so critical, you can still find out those signs. It's just because apparently people are not dating. People are in business.
True.
People are just in... A few people now are willing to commit. So you're asking the causes. One of the biggest causes is family background. If I grew up from a home where my mother was being slapped like she's taking chai, and I'm a man who has grown up from that home, few chances are that I won't do it. I'll definitely implement it. Because charity begins at home.
True.
What I grow up seeing is what I will implement. Unless, of course, there is that all factors kept constant. Yeah? Saying, it wasn't good, I will not implement it. It wasn't good, I won't do it. That's another case. But family background, if you grow up from a violent home, parents out there, be very careful, especially now during the lockdown, the fact that people are home, people are kept home, be careful. What you are doing is actually getting land slowly by slowly. And it's not just about hitting, the words you are using. I forgot to expound on verbal abuse.
Yeah.
This business of telling someone, aina kabina akatono, akatini, sorry, like she has a small, it's none of your business. Someone's physical appearance should not make you judge them in any manner. Yeah? So we should avoid those belittling statements. That is also violence. So many dreams have been shattered because of the words we speak. Someone, I think some of you know about some singers who have been bullied on social media because of their physical appearances. Could be the eyes, the small eyes, or the big one. Someone's physical appearance should not really bring up any uproar. So the whole thing is family background is very key here. And second, alcoholism, the groups we be in. Someone might not actually intend to hit you, but because of the condition they are in, they are not themselves. So in order to avoid domestic violence, we need to control some of the behaviors so that we are not led there. Someone who is drunk is not going to behave as someone who is sober.
True.
So you might you might be led to something you do not wish to do because of the condition you're in.
True.
And also patriarchy. Men will always be men. And also those statements that quote for, there is that statement in Luganda. I think you're better in that language. You could remind me that simanyi emese newe geje sigara. So really, that alone,
I always keep
that speaks
myself,
volume.
I always keep asking myself, ani kapa ani mese.
Well, society has put it like the mese is the woman, and the cat is the man.
Okay.
So those statements themselves are abusive.
That statement is gross. Please cut it off.
Exactly. So, meaning even when you're a woman and you grow and you develop yourself, at the end of the day, you will end up at the hand of the man.
True.
So when we cut out all those statements and we build a society where everyone is entitled to whatever they want as long as they deserve it, we shall have a better society.
Oh, yeah. Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So, now, what are some of the effects that you've seen in families and in communities that are as a result of domestic violence?
First and foremost, it's depression and anxiety. And most problems actually build from this depression and anxiety. Trust me, a man who is disturbed at home is not going to perform as good as the one who is not.
True.
The roads the accidents on the roads, some of them are caused by what happened at home. Women, give your men whatever whatever they deserve, and men do the same. A man who is satisfied cannot act in the same way as the one who is starved.
True.
Whatever way you get it, it's up to you. So basically, when that happens, there is low productivity. You cannot work the same hours as someone who is not stressed. Yeah, and the chain goes on, the cycle goes on, and when it comes to pregnant women, it is worse. Actually, this issue goes further and affects the IQ of the baby, unborn baby. Some women even get premature births because of the violence. Some women get depressed so much and they end up getting other chronic diseases. So basically this whole thing, and most importantly, there is trouble in raising children. When there is violence, there is trouble. I'm not going to tell my child not to behave badly when I'm myself not giving a good example to my child. So it's a great problem for the society that needs to be tackled. In fact, it's urgent. And the earlier we tackle it,
the better.
The better.
Now, I go back to exercise my interest on the phrase reported cases.
Yes.
I've come to realize that these reported cases are most especially reported by onlookers.
Yes.
They're not reported by people who are violated. They're not reported by victims.
Yes.
People are not aware of the support services available.
Yeah.
You know? So that brings me back to, raises a concern of what can really be done to increase awareness, what can be done for the authorities to be involved in solving this. And what do you think can be done by different communities, churches, schools? What do you think can be done to curb the menace?
Yeah, that is why we are here, in fact.
Yeah.
And the best way to do it is what you guys are doing.
Thank you.
Exposure. When the society will never, in fact, they say a problem told is a problem half solved. Yeah. When people get to know that there is a problem, there will always be. That's the first step of healing, to air out what's happening. So people the very first step is people need to know that this is actually a problem. Because in fact, domestic violence has been embedded in the culture.
True.
It's just been part of the day-to-day living. It's okay. It's okay for someone to slap you. I mean, your husband slap you. You must behave. Come on. True. It's okay because a man is a man. That alone needs to stop. So there is need for public sensitization to the grassroots. When you sensitize people, they get to know this is the problem. Most people don't know that they're actually doing wrong. True. They're like, I saw my father slap my mother, so really it's okay. So they first need to know this is wrong. After knowing it's wrong, that is the first step. Then thereafter, we need to empower service providers. Recently, during the lockdown, I went to Katwe Police Station. I had gone to report some case of domestic violence. And I talked to some individuals who said they do not have fuel to go to the homes and tackle some issues. So some of these sectors are not empowered. The first person to be consulted if there is any issue in the community is the LC1 chairman and the CDO, Community
Development
Officer. Yes, Development Officer. So that person does not even have airtime to make calls. That he does not even have fuel or even transport means. So big wigs are empowered with the resources, but the people who need them actually do not have. The people who people run to are not empowered financially. So these places need to be empowered because they are the ones that are there for the people.
True.
In fact, people do not know even where the Ministry of Gender and Labor is, but they know where the LC1 chairmen are or chairpersons are. So it's these people that need to be empowered. True. People need to know what is happening, and the places need to be equipped with the resources to tackle the problem. Schools need to be visited and told, hey, it's not a must that when you make a move on a girl, she must say yes. I have a right to say no. You're not my choice.
Yes.
Parents need to stop imposing a partner on their children because they are from a well-to-do family. They are from a good family. Every family is good, by the way. It's all about the perception. Yeah. So perception needs to change, public sensitization, empowering the community. The government needs to come up and say, hey, you should, in fact, there is no particular law against domestic violence. It doesn't exist in Uganda. So we are just there, to whom it may concern. Yeah? So the government needs to come out and be specific and stand on the ground. If you hit someone like this, there is a penalty. So that is basically it. Everyone needs to come up. It's not about Warm Hearts Foundation. It's not about this organization. It's about everyone. We all need to come up on the ground and say, enough is enough. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Now, the government through the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, put a special helpline.
Yeah.
They even have a center in, is it Boyogirede? I don't know if you know that center.
The South one?
Is it South, the South, it's what?
Well, there are so many help centers, because one of them is South Center, where there is, I've contacted that line as well, and not been fully helped, but been helped somehow, somewhere. Yeah. They are there, the lines are there. Toll-free line, actually, I've contacted so many, yes, toll-free lines.
There's a 116 child helpline.
Yes.
Yes.
And also domestic violence one, which is it 005 or something?
Yes.
The lines are available, they are there, they're in place. But after making the call, what happens? In most cases, they refer you. Please consult. In fact, one time I called and I thought help would be that swift. But I was surprised at the procedure I was taken through. When I called, they told me, now you have to consult your area police station. Then after they will do this, they will locate. Some cases are still pending. It's been 2 months down the road. Yeah. So availing the lines itself is not just enough.
The solution. Yeah, true.
Something more has to be done.
All right. So you're saying to the political will, they need to put money where their mouth is.
Exactly.
That's what you're trying to say?
Yes, allocate it.
The perpetrators need to be brought to book.
Absolutely.
The victims, the victimized have to get, what is it called? Justice.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay. So give us, what do you tell the world out there?
Well,
what do you tell the world out there in your conclusive remarks?
The whole issue is we all have a right to social justice. We all have a right to live according to our choices, as long as the choices do not interfere with the society. And secondly, people out there, let us utilize the community. Let us utilize the people God gave us. Some people are willing to help. People have contacted me, not under Warm Hearts organization, but as me, maybe as a sister, maybe as a friend, and I've been of help. So do not protect your name as you're dying, because when you die, you don't have a second life on earth. You go.
True.
And your children will suffer. So utilize the available resources. True. Utilize the available people. And also there is need for social psychosystems. We need counselors in the society. The same way the government puts policemen on the road, on every community, we also need counselors. We need counselors in schools. We need counselors at the workplaces, because so many things are happening. People are stressed here and there. So many people have lost their jobs, you know. So we need people to talk us back to our positions in order to get back on the ground. Okay. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. But domestic violence is a virus. That's
It's pandemic. It's pandemic. Yeah, more than corona.
Yes. And it's so unlucky that most people who have not suffered coronavirus they have suffered domestic violence.
And gone.
And gone.
Yes,
And gone.
yes.
Yes. So thank you so much for joining us.
You're much
to
welcome.
this show.
You're much welcome.
Yeah. Please be ready. We can call you back again.
It's okay.
There's a lot to talk about.
It is okay.
There are early childhood marriages.
Yes.
Rape, sexual
defilement.
There's
marital rape. I
Yes.
know you don't want to hear
Oh,
of
yes.
it, but there is.
Oh yes. So please watch out on our next episodes. Thank you so much for being lovely viewers. Please share this. Everyone needs to know this. Thank you so much. I'm Levson, your host today, and Carol.
Carol Mukisa, Director, Women's Foundation.
Thank you so much.
You're
All right.
welcome.
See you next time.
Thank you.